Hey, Pastor Steve Waldron, I hope you're having a great day in Jesus. I am holding in my hand a couple of treasures about verbal being. What a prophet, preacher of God. Lots thrown around today about people being prophets. I'm not positive I know of a prophet today. Some are used in the prophetic ministry or have the gift of prophecy used on occasion. Prophets totally different. Maybe verbal being would qualify as that. These are treasures done by Johnny Loy King, PhD. He's a treasure in himself. What a great man Brother King is. Absolutely fantastic. Doing a lot in the Holy Land now. I think he's just came out with a book on archaeology in the Holy Land. I remember when we were working on the Premier Study Bible, he gave one of the greatest, most impactful devotions when we were meeting in the morning. Just fantastic. Longtime leader in Pentecost and a couple different organizations over the decades, and has an amazing church. Now, Brother Doug Walker is the pastor there in Calgary. So complete and unabridged with commentary by Johnny Loy King, and kind of uniquely positioned because verbal being would come to Bakersfield, Ike Terry's church. And what I've done a review of Ike's book. I've read Ike's book a couple times. I love his biography, and it's great. And this is just fantastic. I've been reading through it. I haven't read it from cover to cover yet. Love it. Love it. So I think you can get these from Insignia Books and the WPF bookstore. Insignia Books and the WPF bookstore. I've ordered a lot of stuff from WPF bookstore before. I've always done a good job. Good if you call them too. And the Insignia Books is who helps distribute, as does WPF bookstore, the Premier Study Bible. So these are just good. I'm going to read to you just a couple things from the foreword. And so it comes in hardback and paperback. So I owe much to Verbal Being. Verbal Being preached several revivals in Bakersfield, California in the early 1960s. It greatly affected my church, my family, and my life. His revivals in our church were lengthy, generally lasting from 6 to 12 weeks. To this day, the spiritual DNA of Verbal Being can be found in the First Pentecostal Church of Greater Bakersfield. I will tell you this, my friend Brother Marler preached there probably 10 years ago. And Brother Frost after Brother Terry, and then Kevin, I can't call his last name right now. He married Brother Frost's daughter. Kevin, I actually did a little camp with him in North Dakota one time. Great guy. He said, look, he calls me Steve. He said, Steve, that church in Bakersfield probably has as many people on the pew as anywhere I've ever been in Pentecost. And he's preached it the biggest. He's preached at Mangans and Haney's and everything else. He said, people talk about how many people they got people on the pew. So getting back to this, his influence on the church stemmed from a couple of things. First, he was close to our pastor, I.H. Terry. And my pastor really loved I.H. Terry. They shared the same views on the doctrine of holiness and the essentiality of new birth. Amen to that. Also, Brother Terry was afflicted with a serious medical condition. For several weeks or months, he had to sleep sitting up in a chair. I can remember him preaching and teaching in church while sitting in his chair. His diet was limited to something like baby food. He was dying. Verbal Being came by the house, went into the pastor's room. He shut the door, prayed a short and simple prayer. Then he opened the door, told Sister Terry to fix her husband something to eat because he was healed, and he was instantly. That kind of relationship with the pastor allows an evangelist to have an extraordinary strong influence upon a congregation. And just amazing stuff. Now, Stephen Carrier has done some things on Verbal Being as well. I've done reviews on his books. On Transcribing Brother Being. These are from things he taught on prayer. I know Brother Wilson and Hope Corps and things at their like their college off the coast of Honduras they have that they still do a lot with Verbal Being. So, and I think Lloyd Dunnigan, a friend of mine, somehow he adopted, when Brother Bean died at 42 in a car wreck, he adopted maybe one or two of his daughters. I can't remember. I don't really know how all that went. But anyhow, just get this. We need a generation of people that are reading things like this, living like this. It's very difficult with cell phones, with iPads, with everything of the world coming at us. But when the enemy comes in like a flood, the Spirit of the Lord will raise up a standard against him. And Verbal Bean was a guy that really led the way. And it's kind of unique to me. People from all over the spectrum of various belief systems all tend to really like Verbal Bean. So God bless you. Thanks for being here, and we'll see you later. Bye-bye.